Welcome to Xbox Uncut, episode 205. We've made it, guys, for another week of video game news and discussion. And, just a bunch of crazy people yelling out random shit. That's what it seems like the internet is nowadays. But there's plenty to go, talk about this week. But joining me this week is Tim Dog. What's up, Tim?
Hey, how you doing? Very happy to be here. We couldn't make it last week because, frankly, as I told the show, I completely forgot about it. It was the launch week of Xbox One X, and a very busy week, and very happy with the console. But we'll go into it. Very happy to be here.
Yep, and we have Will. What's going on, Will?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me back again, as always, and glad to have Tim aboard and see his impressions on the X. So it's gonna be a good time.
And Jason this week. What's up, Jay?
Yeah, I'm here this week. Yeah. This week now. Yeah, what's up, guys?
It's the J Slice.
Now, I thought I got rid of my cough, but of course, once I go to do the podcast,
comes back.
It's here. It's raring to go. It loves me, so it doesn't want to leave me. But so I'm gonna try to get through this as best as I humanly possibly can. So we didn't get no letters this week again, so I'm gonna ask again. Please write us in at letters@xboxuncut.com. Send us articles that you'd like us to cover, topics, anything like that. We'll definitely read them, go over them, give you our uncut opinion about all of it.
Yes, please.
Now,
send them in.
Not a ton of news this week, but there's been like crazy news this week. Like a lot of stuff has happened to talk about. So let's just kind of roll right into it.
It's an eventful week for sure.
I don't know what that was.
Hell.
That's not me.
Probably my girlfriend's moving furniture in the background. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's been a week with a lot of drama. A lot of stuff with the Battlefront. I think pretty much took it all or a lot of it. And it just shows you when gamers are pissed, shit goes haywire.
Yeah.
People were lying too, making tweets that they were getting death threats. I don't know. Just the gaming community is unlike any other. So I mean, this week was definitely, aside from the good stuff, there was a lot of it because we're still playing X and people were still there. But the Battlefront stuff, it really was nasty.
Yeah, it was, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I'm going to start out with
we'll go into that.
Microsoft started rolling out digital game gifting on the Xbox One, which is really nice.
Dusty, you're breaking up really badly. I can't even really hear you.
You can't hear me at all?
For a minute there, you were dead quiet.
Oh.
Yeah, you were low. You're better now.
Yeah, he's good.
Right. So, Microsoft is making it easier to give digital games and subscriptions as gifts on Xbox One. The feature will let generous gift givers purchase games, downloadable content, and subscriptions for another person. The feature appears to have a few restrictions at launch, specifying that select games and DLC can be purchased. Microsoft gift terms and condition page notes that gifts can only be purchased and redeemed by users in the same country/region. I mean, I'm just happy that it's here. I understand the restrictions being country and region locked, especially with currency changing between different regions. It when it comes to taxes and everything else, you get into really weird areas. Like I'm trying to give, let's say, Steve, a game because. Who gets taxed? Who doesn't? Like how that all works would be really weird.
Well, not just that, but there's actual laws governing like possession of actual items and how they're handled with the refunds and all that. like there's a lot of. It's not just as simple as going, "Hey, you can have this game," from an American to someone in the UK. I mean, there's different laws involved on how the games will work legally. So I don't. That's probably what it has a lot to do with.
Well, does Steam is Steam region locked, or we don't know? That's a good
I'm not
question.
sure.
Steam, I don't believe, is region locked at all.
Right.
I think it's more. It's possible, but it takes a lot of work. It'll probably eventually happen.
Yeah, probably there's things that they have to build in. There's a reason, obviously, for everything. So they'll build it in though. It might take a while though, but for the time being, if you want to, usually your family is, for the most part. I mean, I know that there's people that have family out, in different countries, but for the most part, family and friends are close by. So, you could use it within the region.
Yeah, it's a great feature, especially for if you want like a friend. Let's say you're game sharing with somebody and like you want to kind of like have them stop mooching little by little. You just buy them a code or something and have them buy a little bit of the library. But
Not just that,
they can
but
buy
like
their own shit.
being able to give a friend a month of EA access or a year of it, like it's a lot easier just to be able to go, you know what, here's, take my $30, give it to him, and that way he's good for the next year. And you don't have to sit there and worry about, oh, where's my friend's thing so I can get, his account so that I can input this because he just doesn't understand how this works. It kind of cuts out a lot of the BS.
Although I kind of think the region thing, it doesn't. I don't think it matters a huge amount right now. It kind of feels like, oh, you can gift people, that's nice, but can I gift someone hypothetically a friend in another country? And it's kind of like, all right. I mean, not yet, but I guess eventually. It doesn't really fucking matter.
No.
I mean, of course, yeah, people are gonna have friends, but I guarantee 99% of the people that are gonna be gifting games are going to be to people in the same country or identify in the same region.
Well, I'm more curious if it affects state to state.
Yeah.
When
No,
they say
I don't.
region. I don't believe it will.
I don't
but
believe
I haven't
so,
tried it.
no.
Will, send me a game.
Sure, I'll test drive
I need everybody to test this feature. It's Bazooka XP.
Send us games. Yeah.
Send me game. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, now's a great time to give somebody something because of the Black Friday sale. So it's going to be a good time to try it out.
And it makes giveaways a lot easier too, because sometimes you weren't able to just give a game, like going to Amazon and get the game you want to give away digitally because they just don't offer it.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be very easy to get the code. I mean, you're going to have a asterisk saying, hey, it's for US only, but at least it gives more options.
Yeah, pretty much.
Excuse me. Okay, so next bit of news is Mojang is letting Minecraft fans choose the game's next mob. As part of the Minecon Earth event taking place this Saturday, November 18th, Mojang has announced that it will be holding a special event to allow fans to vote for Minecraft's next mob. There are 4 options to choose from, but only one will eventually make it into the game, at least for now. Mob A, the monster of the ocean depths, an ocean monster which will attempt to drown you with its tongue-like tentacle. Mob B, the monster with the night skies, a flying manta ray-like monster which targets players who haven't slept. Mob C, the Great Hunger, a cute-looking mob that sinks into the ground and waits for things to fill into its huge mouth. And Mob D, the Hovering Inferno, a master blaze that appears in the nether with a powerful shockwave attack. The Minecon Earth livestream begins Saturday, November 18th at 5 p.m. GMT, 12 Eastern, and 9 a.m. Pacific, with the pre-show starting 20 minutes before. You can always watch the show, on Xbox and a few different other places. But I think this is really cool that they're reaching out to the community and allowing people to kind of choose the next big mob. Personally, I would love to see the manta ray kind of thing, the monster of the night skies, because I don't think there's enough punishing for not getting enough sleep in Minecraft, because you can kind of just go around and never sleep and just eat and just work
Yeah, it's pretty
nonstop.
cool.
I take it nobody else plays Minecraft. Nobody
You
else
know
cares.
what? The fact is I'm waiting for the 4K update. Do they don't have the 4K in the texture update? Is that correct?
No, they got pushed out to supposedly 2018 to sometime.
Whatever
sucks.
fucking reason. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's Minecraft.
Showed that at E3.
Yeah.
No, listen. I saw that at the closed door meeting. That I talk about that. I've talked about that quite a few times. It's impressive what they're doing. I mean, they have.
That's what I don't get. If it's ready, I mean, if they already have it, just release the damn thing. I mean, it's Minecraft, not like some insane game that it would take a while to get it to run at a certain frame rate. Even at 4K with a high-res texture pack. I don't know. Guess I'm going to be a negative Nancy on that one.
I'm stoked. They haven't explained how you get to vote yet, so I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But man, array motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see a creature come out after people that just haven't slept. Just start killing them.
I'm guessing that either way it doesn't matter because it sounds like they're eventually just going to add all these enemies into the game.
Oh no, more than likely, yeah. They all sound like actually clever additions to the mobs in Minecraft. Because I don't want to call the mobs sterile, but that world you just have to keep adding on to it so it doesn't feel like, oh yeah, I've killed the 8 millionth creeper this week, like. But that's it for Minecraft news, I guess. Star Wars Battlefront. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I feel bad every time Dustin mentions like Minecraft. I always like I fall silent. I have nothing to say.
Well, it's his favorite. So
yeah. But I'm happy he's happy.
Favorite's a strong term.
that's up there.
But it's very addicting. I got 2 servers actively going right now. I'll say that.
Dustin single-handedly would keep Minecraft alive even if all the servers went down.
Oh, I don't think I would ever have to single-handedly do it. It still amazes me that it's still in the top 10 NPD, everywhere. It's just yeah, we're not going nowhere. We're Minecraft. Fuck you.
Yeah, good deal. Good deal for Phil Spencer. That was a good call.
All right, so let's get into. I guess this is honestly the biggest story of the week. This is what everybody wants to talk about. Star Wars Battlefront 2 drops real money currency. Star Wars Battlefront 2 won't offer paid microtransaction in-game when it launches, following a week of furious criticism regarding Battlefront 2's economy and progression systems. Oscar Gabrielson, general manager of development studio of DICE, acknowledged widespread backlash for the game's economy at launch. However, the option to purchase crystals in-game will return at an unspecified date. Crystals are still listed for the Xbox for sale on the Xbox One store. However, on the PlayStation Store, both the Battlefront 2 starter pack, which includes 1,500 crystals, and 4,400 crystal packs have been removed entirely. The lead up to the game's release saw EA and DICE make drastic adjustments to Battlefront 2's in-game economy and take to Reddit to ease players' concerns. The latter effort didn't go well for the company and resulted in the most downvoted comment in Reddit history. Battlefront 2 has been available in limited release on Windows PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4 for several days. Yeah, this is, oh, shit. Where do you even fucking start with Battlefront? Well, let's start with the basics. So, if you were going to buy everything, didn't it come up to $2,400 to purchase your way?
$2,100.
It was 21? I thought it was 24. Some fucking ridiculous amount to purchase your way to opening everything. And I get that's what whales are, and you get people to pay these insane amounts. But it was either $2,100 or $2,100, or like 4,200 hours.
Yeah.
Still
of game
cheaper
time.
than Grand Theft Auto 5-star cards. Just saying.
No, but the point was it took 4,200 hours to do it legitimately without fucking buying currency.
Right.
Which is what honestly what the real issue is. It's not that it was expensive as shit. It was the fact that you just could never do it.
The issue was that you could pay to gain an advantage in multiplayer.
Well, not just that. I mean, you were literally fucked. Like, unless you paid, you would have to put thousands of hours in
that's what I mean.
game.
You have a huge advantage.
Like, you could eventually do it if you know, you spent, I think somebody said 2.5 years playing 40 hours a week doing it would unlock everything.
It's way too much.
Like, no.
I'm going to say this now. If you're going to do microtransactions in a game like this, you need to do it like fucking Halo 5 did it. And I understand Star Wars Battlefront 2 was doing it and they're going to have free DLC. But here's the thing. You don't have an online multiplayer where the microtransactions that you're selling give a fucking advantage. You don't do that. Like, Halo 5 does not give you an advantage. And even if it did, like, let's say, since you paid for, a rec pack, you got some premium level Scorpion tanks. What does it fucking matter? It's only for Warzone. It's not competitive. It's like, make specific game modes for these things and make it cosmetic. Don't fucking... It's absolutely insane.
Well, here's the deal. You had a game that was going to sell a lot, and it should have beat its predecessor by a lot, which made a lot of money. I mean, you had a chance after the first Battlefront to have your franchise, Battlefront, was blow for blow with Call of Duty that year. Call of Duty pulled ahead a little bit at the end, but fact is that they were challenging Call of Duty. Now, you had that, and you had that going for you, but you do this thing where you put all these microtransactions, and you don't have a focus group, or you don't have gamers beforehand look at this. You just have your developers, and you have, I guess, the people who are trying to sell it. And I think there's a big disconnect there when you put out this type of stuff. This was basically closest to a $60 game that was a cell phone game, as they say, a microtransaction game that you get on your cell phone. You cannot do that. You cannot implement things that take 4,200 hours to get the whole thing, and at an absurd price. You cannot do that. So I think that they really royally screwed up. You royally screwed up, as the rumor goes, that Walt Disney's actually calling.
I don't think that's a rumor. I think that's pretty funny.
Okay, I think it's true too. They're calling from that stage for the reaction to happen to all the microtransactions
that quickly.
Yeah, they're dealing with an iconic, thing here where you can make a lot of money, and they probably really hurt themselves here. I haven't bought the game yet. I got news for you. I'm gonna buy it when I get it on sale. And for me to not buy a game, you really fucked up. Excuse the language, but you really screwed up.
Yeah. I
had many people hit my DM saying, "Tim, do not support this. Please, don't really support the game. Don't, hype it. That's what they're doing is very bad." Now, we had a situation with Forza that was nothing like this. Okay, Forza 7, the microtransactions that they didn't even have lit up aren't close to what this is. That's loot boxes. That's another.
To mention, Forza 7 never had microtransactions.
Right, never had it, and
it doesn't give you any kind of advantage
whatsoever. The credit system is fair. I think the overall economics of that game economics are okay or decent. You know what I mean? Especially for VIP. Now it's double credits. I think they kind of fixed everything that they screwed up. But in this case, they totally screwed up, and they hurt their game, and now people don't trust them. People do not, think they're going to go back, and they have handled this each step of the way horrible. and now they're paying for it. You know what I mean? Now you're paying for it, and for them just to, keep, if they could have went like Titanfall did, with that type of structure, maybe cosmetics only. I mean, cosmetics only for Star Wars. Think about that.
No.
For Star Wars, you're gonna make money, but for them to do this, and the greed got to them, and I understand this is going to be a model going forward, but you have to have a right way about going about things and a wrong way. And the way you have a situation like this is you should have a focus group where you should have somebody test this and say, okay, guys who are, that have been critical of microtransactions or that think, that they pay to win or that type of stuff, you have to have those type of people and you have to discuss it. And they should have known a long time ago. They should have known when they had the beta that this was going to be a problem. And now, it's a huge problem.
Let's be honest. EA doesn't run like it doesn't run like a company made by a bunch of people that love video games. It's run like a business. And the people in charge of this game were not, they were not engineers. They weren't gamers. They were businessmen. And when they looked at this game, they were only looking for opportunities to make money. And as a business, you should approach games from a business point of perspective. You need to make a profit in order to continue making games. But at the same time, you got to understand what you're doing. Like, are you honestly, like, you have to be really arrogant to not be able to, especially with how big of a company EA is and the amount of money they have. They can do market research. I guarantee they do market research. Like, these bullshit comebacks where, we should have listened to the community and all this shit. Like, they were listening to the community the whole time. They just didn't give a fuck.
Exactly. This reminds me of when Matrick went up on stage and they announced DRM or they didn't denounce it. Yeah. This reminds me of that. You saw all the signs and like Jason says, you know it, but you still do it. Yeah. And that's where you screw up.
Not just that, it's not like microtransaction issues had just become a thing with Battlefront. Like, people have been bitching about, like, microtransactions have been newsworthy for the last, 6 months to a year. Like, it's been heavily on everybody's mind.
Forza 7 didn't even have microtransactions, and it affected the review scores.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't even have them.
Like, people, like, this isn't like a unknown issue. Everybody's known about this.
Yeah.
Like, just sit
72
there
Metacritic,
pretend
by the way.
Like it's just like this new thing. It's ridiculous.
Now, I'm going to say that I think anyone reviewing a game and taking away a score because microtransactions are in the game, I think that's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I don't think a game should be reviewed based on the fact that it has microtransactions in it. I think that just sounds like, you're not judging the game for what it is. You're just being a resentful asshole. I'm just saying. Yes, the business's decisions are bad, but that has nothing to do with the actual quality of the game. I guess I'll just put it there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's been very interesting to track the progress of this game, considering like all the playtests and stuff. I mean, it was readily apparent they were like testing the economy each time, and they're kind of trying to see how far they can push it, which was interesting. And it was interesting as well is that there's almost near universal outcry for this type of thing with what's going on with Battlefront 2. So I mean, you could definitely tell it's one of those things where EA kind of push it too far, and they're kind of seeing like all the pushback now. So I mean, I'm sure they're gonna. I mean, they've definitely said they're gonna bring it back. They're just gonna adjust it. But have they said they're gonna like make it different? Like if they're gonna make like the stages. Like, you know how they had it in the first one where they charge you for stages?
Dude, I don't think they wanted to announce anything other than we're not doing it right now.
Well, they did say
anything.
They said they're readjusting everything. Like they're redoing.
That's not saying anything, though. That's what I mean.
No, but that's saying that like that means everything's on the table for them to go.
Yeah.
All right, how are we gonna fix the microtransactions? Like, I guarantee you they will not be rolling out the same microtransaction deals they had. Just because the backlash and people would boycott every EA game. Like, they got such bad feedback from this. it kind of like this is like dropping stock prices issue. Like this is
Well, when Disney calls,
when Disney calls and goes, "What the fuck?"
Right.
Like we don't want this associated with our game, like our franchise. Like
Now, to be
you have
fair to
issues.
EA here, I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and I'm gonna say Disney likely actually had. They probably had told EA that they had to spend a certain amount of money on that game. Like they had to likely spend, $100 million or so developing that game minimum, just to get it to the standards that Disney wanted it at. And that shit cost a lot of fucking money.
Oh yeah.
That is not fucking cheap whatsoever, especially building a Star Wars game.
But the first one was
It has to meet the
successful.
standards Disney wants.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I know. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, so they really just had something that they should have just kept, and just kept as is, and they would have made the same money. But they got greedy. They wanted to double the profit, and it translated into this. Now, as far as people right now, they still don't trust them because, as we're talking about now, they haven't given us a definitive answer on what they're going to do. And they read comments like people want in-game compression, progression, or speed up progression. So there's this whole situation that's swirling, and it got real ugly, and it still is ugly in a way. And Walt Disney, and I'm sure everyone wants this to go away, but they still haven't really made it go away. You still see the people who say don't buy the game because they're going to just put this stuff in a month later. So they really, really screwed this up.
It's another thing people aren't thinking about is the amount of money EA spent to get the Star Wars video game license and the amount they need to recoup with these games because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking of this, by the way, I get it. There's the emotional factor people are going with, they shouldn't do this, it's bad. I'm thinking of this from a business perspective, which is really what this comes down to, especially for EA. And you think about the money they spent for the Star Wars license, which had to have been pretty insane.
Yeah, but that argument just doesn't
price of the
hold
games.
water because you have people like myself and Tim where we like spending microtransaction money, and that does not bother us. We are not anti-loot box.
Well, they did it wrong.
There are good games that do loot boxes correctly. Halo 5 does loot boxes correctly.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that I don't blame them for doing microtransactions. They just did them wrong.
But they completely fucked up on how to implement them. Like the idea that you have to either spend 4,000 hours playing a game or fucking spend $2,100 is fucking asinine when you already dropped fucking $60 for the game in the first place. Like,
especially when 90% of the people playing it don't, they only have maybe 2 hours a night to even play the game.
Yeah, the average person would never be able to do it, ever.
I know. They screwed it up. Even the 2,100. So much money just to do that, to get all that, but still.
Because you could say, Battlefield is, has microtransactions, and you can cheat your way to to being the best Battlefield player. You can, and you know what? It probably cost you about $100 to get all the skip stuff, to skip every single class and to skip everything, just so you have every gun and you have everything unlocked. Yeah, it's gonna cost you about $100. Maybe less than that. I don't know. I haven't put the money together, but it's not fucking $2,000. It's, you know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what
it's
will
not
cost
that
you
expensive.
$2,000. I'm sorry. I was saying, I'll tell you what would cost you over $2,000 though, to buy everything in Grand Theft Auto 5 with Star Card, but that gets away with it because. Fuck you.
No, because you can make money in GTA without spending 4,000 hours in it. No, nowhere near 4,000 hours.
I disagree, sir.
Nowhere
how
near.
Expensive shit in Grand Theft Auto 5 is, and I mean incredibly expensive. You do not make that much money for the amount of time you invest in that game.
Did you guys see the there's a Twitter guy that his handle is at Zen of Design, and I think his name is Damian Schubert. He's talking about loot boxes. This is a developer that's works on loot boxes, and he's talking about how they're supposed to work, with free-to-play games. He was saying that free-to-play games are really supposed to have that state in which most people won't actually buy the microtransactions, and the 2% that do buy them are the ones that where they get most of their money from, and that's like why they put them in there. So I thought it was really interesting. It goes into a little dissertation. It's a bunch of tweets. I'll put it in the chat for you guys to see if on the Mixer stream. Let's see. Oh, Mike is here. What's up, Mikey Bar? And Twisted Stream. What's going on?
He has a loot box for us. Walt Disney sent him.
Oh God. CEO of Disney's here. No.
I was wondering what Mike's doing here. We could do other better things than listen to us.
How dare you?
He wants the uncensored opinion.
You're off
of
the podcast
Tim.
now, bro.
All right.
But yeah, that's the Twitter thing I put on there. I mean, if you guys have like the time, check it out. It's pretty interesting when you see like from a developer standpoint and see where like EA went wrong with that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. I think the game will still sell its ass off because 90% of the sales are going to be to most people that wouldn't even follow this news anyway, or care about it.
I don't know,
including the reviews. Well, it's
the
like
reviews were bad.
Yeah, like everything's come out like against Battlefront right now because of this. Like, and I know we're an Xbox podcast, and I ain't trying to blow smoke, but like, Microsoft on the whole has done a decent job with microtransactions. I've never really felt like
I think Gears 4 went a little far, but
I was happy with Gears 4. It didn't bother me that much. I don't like Overwatch because of it. I think Overwatches are just too like. I think the 3 silvers and a blue issue is still too much. But that's their model, and it's still Overwatch is the farthest I'd go when it comes to dealing with this. Battlefront went way too far.
Yeah, it's a much better model to see because considering you can buy loot boxes or you can just earn them through the end game. But I'll be very interested to see how this will definitely affect future EA titles. Like, there's no way anybody's not going to see them in a more cynical manner now because it's just.
I don't think it's over. I think it's still like I feel like this wave is still here. I do not feel like they addressed it correctly, and this is just, and the next game that comes out that attempts this is going to be, they are the poster child for microtransactions right now, and you don't want to be there. For me, if the in-game progressions and the credits are fair compared to the game, to what you can get for loot boxes if you buy, I think that's fair. But this is way out of whack. Like, this is. This is a phone style, cell phone style microtransaction, free to play. It's almost there.
Yeah.
When you talking 4,000 hours,
the big issue is people need to make sure that they're going after the right games. Like going after Battlefront's right. What people did to Forza was wrong. Like
agreed.
We need to actually sit there and go because microtransactions aren't going. They're going to be here, period, because that's helping development. But we need to decide what we're willing to take, which I think the Forza model, Halo, all those models are fine.
Mm-hmm.
Battlefront, no. Get that shit out of here. It's time for nobody's going to spend that kind of money on a game. Like,
and it makes it difficult for the industry too, because it's not like Microsoft can come out and talk trash to EA, about EA. Neither can Sony or a lot of these other partners. They can't just come out and go, EA is being stupid with this. It's a partner,
Well, they're also Sony's looking into doing it themselves too. I think you're going to see a lot more microtransactions for single player games now. You don't see them as much.
There's already some in Uncharted.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be something that you might see a lot more, especially on Sony's platform, because they probably look at their checkbook or they look at their business account. And they say, well, we sold Horizon and it did so great, and we did this, and they probably are thinking, well, we need to do better. We need to make more money, because the fact of the matter, single player is AAA is a lot to make, and to recoup, you have to sell a ton of consoles. A ton of units. Where they're going to look into, probably if you can buy a different cosmetic or something within the game that you can maybe access and or sometimes, you can be creative with it. But for me, I have no problem with that. I have no problem if you have some like even the loot crates in Forza. I have no problem with that. I might even spend $10 on that, and I would like, and I know, but I would maybe like to do that. And people don't you have to people are ashamed to say that, and they're afraid to say that. But the fact is that there are people who will spend money on microtransactions, and you'd be probably surprised if you knew who did it. People just don't actively come out and say that they spend money because they get shamed and they get put down and this and that. But I don't have a problem with microtransactions as a whole. It's just that you have to be smart about it. You have to it has to have redeeming value, and it can't screw up your the way you run the game, the way the game is, and the difficulty in the game. It can't screw up certain things, in my opinion. The competitiveness. You can't pay to win and just, give some guy a bulk armor and shoot up people. You can't do that. But, you could do it fairly, in my opinion, or creative.
Well, you also have to remember that we're now in a culture where it's all about defending everyone else. So it's not really about the fact that someone is personally offended by microtransactions or loot boxes. It's that they feel that they need to defend others from it.
Right.
And, no one can be their own adult anymore. I've actually had this argument with someone before, and they were like, they shouldn't make microtransactions available. That takes advantage of people. And I said, when did we stop being adults that are responsible for our own decisions? And he's like, that's dumb. And I'm like, what?
Well, no, nobody's saying that you can't.
You were
responsible if you sat there and spent $2,000 on Battlefront 2 upgrades. Because you did that. You decided that was a worthy value, and that's what you wanted to do. But at the same time, you know what? Y'all have had fucking 2 generations between the Xbox 360 and fucking Xbox One. You should have been able to figure out fucking microtransaction developers. Time's up. Y'all have been given a shot. We've given you plenty of leeway. You keep fucking pushing it, and you can never figure out how to fucking do it right. Even though the community will tell you, this is a good example, this is bad. But it's like you'll never learn. And EA's not like a small company that fucked up. EA's a giant company that royally screwed the pooch here. They fucked up on a cosmic scale for them. There was no way they didn't know the backlash was coming for fucking microtransactions.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
These microtransactions should have been an easy way to skip 10 hours of gameplay, and with the option to hide the microtransaction offers if you wanted to. That's what it should have been, not something that would have taken 2,400 hours or $2,400 or 4,000 hours. That's just silly.
That really raised the red flag on that one.
Let me give an idea to
that was the damning piece of evidence that really, did them in.
Well, your
game should be designed. Your game should be designed for a 40-hour experience of unlocking stuff. 40 to 50 hours max for unlocking everything. Not 4,000, not 5 hours. About 40 to 50 hours.
I'm going to be honest. Forza 7's probably about 200 hours.
No, but that way you have enough stuff to sit there
60.
and you feel good. You feel like you're getting, oh man, this game's beefy. It has a lot of stuff I can sit there and unlock, and within a 50 hours time span, I'm unlocking all these characters and these guns and these abilities and these skins. Not, well, I guess I need to put another 20 hours so I unlock one character. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned it earlier, Tim. Having fake developers coming out saying they had death threats.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
And everyone believing him, including myself. I'm having a conversation and I'm pissed off, and it was all fake.
Yeah, our boy Jason Schreier uncovered that little fact.
It's just bizarre.
Honest, from what I've listened to, it's not that the death threats are fake. It's that he wasn't an actual EA developer.
Yeah.
Like, there's no proof whether or not either way that the death.
Well,
threats
7
are
was a little high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he could have still, like, if he was on like, the guy was apparently pretty popular, and if he was out there, like, constantly defending, like, it's the internet. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the guy got 7 death threats. I mean, people get
I mean,
death
he wasn't
threats
that
all the
popular,
time.
though. He wasn't, See, it should have raised the red flag. I remember reading 7, and I'm like, eh. But then I read it, and I'm like, oh, wow, this guy's, I see he's definitely somebody who's, within the industry, and or seem like it. I know people who know that guy, that guy has known things in the past. He was an insider information. He had some inside information, so he might know people, and he seemed like a decent guy, but what's all that all about? I just don't get people who make that stuff up and then go on with it. It just seems to be so bizarre to me. I don't, making things up like that and then taking everyone for a wild run for attention and, basically feel bad for me. And then it's all made up. And then you just go away. Like, you live your life in shame as a different person, though, on the internet. It's just all weird to me. That's why you really can't trust the internet. It's kind of a freaky place.
Yeah, you always have to play a detective. But yeah, like you said, it's very much like it was a attention type of thing. I don't know. Some people just have nothing better to do with their lives and just like do this sort of thing. He's very much of the NeoGAF insider mold,
Mm-hmm.
Right. He was giving some articles that you read were from him, from him from him feeding people information behind the scenes. So the guy was not just like a fly-by-night guy. The guy actually had some connections or had some hooks.
Mm-hmm.
But
he might have actually been.
He probably just really embellished, or he worked, or he knew his best friend. Who knows? He just really embellished that whole tweet.
Yeah.
And then, when you get called out on something, there's 2 ways to go. You either try to answer it and you say, maybe whatever, I made it up, and you kind of live in shame and nobody takes you seriously, or you just disappear and you go under a different alias or a different name, or you can't be anybody who talks to that guy again, like the people who got their information for their articles, whatever the case would be, they you talk to that same person, the first thing they think about is this guy's a liar. So that whole Big Sean persona, as small as it might have been, or whatever it was, that's gone. He has to be a different person now. And I have had my problems with Jason, but Jason did a good job there. I mean, he said, this doesn't look right, and it wasn't right. They had him dead to rights. They showed the tweets where he's saying he's this, and 2005 he's saying something else. So this guy's been lying for years. Yeah. It just goes to show you there are weird people out there. You just never know.
To be honest, with the way he defended that company, it makes me feel like he was actually maybe used to work for them or did, and I had an account that they anonymously posted with, so they could talk without having to worry about consequences. But you never. Okay.
Sorry, that was a random web browser pop up with music.
Well, stop looking at porn.
Look, that was actually news for gamers, by the way.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, you never fucking know with this shit, especially Twitter. I mean, but the guy had like 100,000 tweets, like serious, like it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's some strange shit.
That's very strange. Well, I think the what you take away is that you really, what you read on the internet, unless it's from a real verified person like Phil Spencer or Mike Ibarra, somebody who's verified, and they say stuff like that, I think you always have to question it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you do have to realize people want attention. They want to be noticed, and they'll do with that. They'll lie. They'll do whatever it takes. And You just got to know that, and you got to take, temper back things if you read stuff like that, especially if you don't know the person. One of the things with being verified is it's that person. But with this guy, who the hell is he? He could be anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I don't even take like a Z Huge or Zhug. I don't know what his name. I never really take anything he says seriously. Like ever since the whole Phil Spencer thing with him, like when he was like Microsoft has no money or something like that for the investment, something like that. I was like, this guy's bullshitting. I even think he's lying about the whole Microsoft trying to play Blue Point. I mean, it's not that
that was like, how would he know? Like, how is he? First of all, you have two partners, Microsoft, and you have Bluehole. Okay, Bluehole's not going to be telling him when you're dealing with this type of deal. They're not going to be telling him, "Oh, we had a deal in place and it fell through." He said he knows it for a fact, but when you're dealing with that, how much? Let's just say a $200 billion deal. I'm throwing a number out there.
Yeah,
it's not going to get to Z Huge. It's not going to get to him.
No,
because there's total implications with that. There's stock market implications. There's just Yeah. Those deals are not going to be talked about to some fucking guy like that. So for him to say for a fact,
and only him, like you'll see leaks where, like 20 different people are going, yeah, this thing's probably going down, and you'll see the leaks. But not a single guy that's a no one fucking gets the biggest scoop ever, and it's like, no, that's.
I mean, you could obviously see that they're partners, they're good partners, and that something of the realm could come up like that. But for him to say that, and when he got called out about Phil, about what Phil that stuff, that was from what he heard probably from. One of his confidants or one of his people who think that they know that stuff. They don't. You know what I mean? The bottom line is that when you say stuff like it's for a fact, it's not for a fact. You can't be taken seriously. And a guy like him, I can't. I mean, he does provide a lot of numbers, but I'm not going to – when he says something like that, I'm not going to take that and ride that home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he seems like a decent –
has no funding, which is why they put Phil Spencer on the senior
the
senior committee for Microsoft.
Yeah, now they do. I mean, he seems like a decent enough guy, but like, I just don't like take anything he says, really like at heart. He tends to extrapolate stuff that doesn't really make sense.
He's fair with the numbers. Like when he gets into the realm of that stuff.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take that serious.
Yeah,
when he does do, like he talks about, he gets leaks within the financial field or NPD, that stuff he's pretty legitimate on. I'll give him that. But stuff like that PUBG deal being done deal, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know that kind of respect.
That's like way too over the top. And with the whole thing with Big Sean too, that's over the top too. So when it seems like it's over the top, guess what? It's probably over the top fake.
So what you're saying is I shouldn't look at a situation from titles and quickly react and jump on Twitter and yell about it.
And claim as fact. But yeah, the only two analysts I kind of take with any like seriousness is Matt Piscatella and probably even Pachter. I'll take over. He's huge.
Oh God.
Yeah. Pachter. If Pachter said something like that, then I'd be like, okay. Yeah. Pachter has some serious connections, and he's broken things in the past. So if Pachter said that, yeah. That's so I agree with you there. Now Matt, he's a numbers guy. I think he's excellent too. I've talked to him. We actually were talking, and he was saying about the Battlefront thing before, and my contention was that it's part of the in-game economics to recoup money. But he's saying that they're people that want these microtransactions, which might be true too. You know what I mean? Yeah. But we had a good conversation, and he's good with the numbers, and he's a good guy. But yeah, on the level of Pachter, I think Pachter is, if he says something, even though we make fun of him, if he's saying something like a rumor type thing like that, you would have to take it very seriously.
Yeah.
No, we make fun of Pachter on his analytic opinions on some things. We don't make fun of him if he comes out and says something's a fact.
Yeah. Exactly.
If Pactor came out and said something was a fact, look, Pactor, for all the stuff we could talk about him, he's not going to come out and say something damning that could harm a company that could get him in serious legal trouble. Like, if he knows something's a fact and he says it, it's highly likely it is.
Well, there you go.
Pactor will be very clear what he says is his opinion.
Right.
Yeah, Pactor, and he's also verified. Pactor is the type of is we might not like all the things he says, and he's definitely outspoken, but
look, everybody gives Pactor shit, but at least
he has some serious connections. Like he knows some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's definitely in the industry. He's not like fucking just a nobody.
But
I know people like to
I will say he has been wrong quite a bit. I'm just saying.
Well, but overall he's
better
still
in 360.
Yeah.
He's been very off.
Yeah, no one's arguing that he doesn't have awesome connections. He definitely does.
All right.
He's just gone a little crazy. That's it.
It happens to the best of us.
Honestly, let's go ahead, Dustin. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to move on to the next topic unless y'all wanted to keep talking about this for a little bit more.
Go for it, man.
Okay. Now, these are more like kind of sales deals. Microsoft's Xbox Black Friday deal includes a $189 Xbox One S. Microsoft is offering its lowest price yet on an Xbox One system starting November 23rd. You get a console and a fucking game, and it's for $189. The games that we're looking at right now, it kind of popped up in a picture: Watch Dogs 2, Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection, and Just Dance 2018. So, big, huge games that we all can't wait to play. I mean,
great
I'm
bundles.
looking forward to
I just wish they had,
Dance.
like everybody's been saying, like they need to have some bundles for the X, but I guess this just wasn't to be, at least not yet. Maybe
Probably
for next.
Don't have the inventory for it yet. To be honest.
That's true. That's true. You got a point.
It probably sold most of them. I guess we'll get into that though. If you want.
Psychotron, I agree. Let's Dance for the win.
Sales stuff has come out for Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Okay,
Psychotron says Let's Dance for the win.
Yeah. Also starting November 21st is a deal on Xbox Design Labs wireless controllers for $65.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
So if you want a Design Labs wireless controller, it's $65.
Oh yeah, a little bit more reasonable compared to what they usually are, but I don't really mess with that. I mean, it's a cool feature, but I'd rather just get the already customized ones.
I like my Design Labs controller. It's totally worth it, especially for $5 over a regular controller. Go up there, design yourself a nice little, controller, put your gamer tag on it, or fucking just get the colors you want. I mean, most places are going to charge you an arm and a leg to paint your controller.
Yeah,
so
in that regard, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just go ahead and go through Design Labs.
Now the digital sale is insane. It's really good. So far, stuff that's even just recently came out, like Wolfenstein 2, that's like $30 already. That's crazy.
Yeah, so Xbox Live Gold members, as of right now, have early access to the Black Friday deals. You get up to 65% off in digital games. As you said, there's Doom, or not Doom. How much was Doom, Jason? It was
$20.
$20?
A little over 20, like 2019.
That's not bad at all.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now,
it runs.
Please go to Major Nelson's website to check all these deals. There's 8 million different games. It's hard to parse this out. I'm pretty. I want to buy Ark for a friend because it's only $38 right now, compared to $60 normally.
Yeah, that's
stuff
really good.
Like that.
Ark looks so much better on X.
Yes, it does. Still runs a little rough, but it does definitely.
Doesn't make you want to tear your eyes out.
Yeah.
No, it looks good.
Now, if you're a fan of Battlefield 1 and didn't buy any of the,
we're playing it. They weren't even playing at 720. It was like 698.
No, it was like 638p.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
Such weird resolutions, man.
Yeah.
Whatever they could get it to run at. They
basically got it from that to 1440p on X. Yeah, that's pretty big deal. Like as far as the visual quality. I mean, and they had added a lot of stuff, but Arc is fantastic. Killer Instinct is $20. If you don't have that and you got the X, I'd recommend you get that. For me, that looks better than any game right now. I think it's native. It's definitely native 4K 60. Injustice 2 got a patch, but I don't think it's such a great patch. I would say that Killer Instinct right now is the best looking fighter on the X.
What's the resolution
Killer
on?
Instinct looked absolutely fucking wicked.
Yeah, it looks it's clean.
I told you guys it looked good in 4K.
Yeah. But what's the resolution on Injustice so far? Is it like 1800 or something like that?
Probably. I don't think it's native. I don't think
it's not a very well optimized game, to be honest.
Yeah, they didn't. I think they kind of, some of these patches as you see, some are freaking done unbelievable. Then some are run of the mill, and I think that Injustice was one of the mill. I could see. I mean, I would say that 1080p Injustice 2 versus Killer Instinct. I might even give Injustice 2 the nod. But with this graphical update, whatever they did with Killer Instinct, the graphics just really pop, and they don't pop as much.
Well, you can see those particle effects.
Yeah,
clearly, and the particle effects in Killer Instinct
just looks crazy at 4K.
Mind blowing.
It really.
There's so much. The whole screen is full of particle effects.
I know. The X with that game, it is probably top 3 best optimized updates. Very good.
Yeah, that's really good.
All right, now there's
so far
games.
there's other good deals. Agents of Mayhem, $25. I was thinking about getting that one. What do you guys think of that one?
I would hold off on that.
Yeah.
What about wrestling for $35? I'm thinking about that.
That's kind of high. I don't know. I guess it's really subjective.
Yeah, Edith Finch, $13. I might pick that one up.
Yeah, you pick that up. That's an easy 1,000.
If you don't have EA access,
I think Doom is a clear thing you should pick up. I know we already mentioned it, but $20.
Mass Effect Andromeda being $16.
Wolfenstein 2, I think it's kind of a hard sell. I mean, if you're really into it, but $30 is kind of.
What about?
I don't know.
I think it's pretty good. It's considering the time frame. It just came out. That's crazy. And I have one in the expansion of one. It was the Old Blood and the other one. I still have BDS, so I have no reason to buy the second one already because I still have to beat the other ones. But that looks pretty good. Recore, I think, is on sale as well, right? That had an update. But unfortunately, it was 1440p or something.
Yeah,
it was
speak of run-of-the-mill updates.
Yeah, I was I'll take it, but the frame rate's a lot better. Vern was saying that the what do you call it? The HDR is a little blown out or something happened with it, but I can't verify that. I'm on a 1080p.
No, there's a couple games that I thought were good deals. Mass Effect Andromeda being $16. Madden 18 is $30. But
Nice.
if you could wait, I'd probably just get EA Access and just wait for it to release on EA Access. Battlefield 1 Premium Pass, if you just didn't buy the pass, is only $15 right now. It's a lot of good DLC that's on sale like that. Because normally I don't like buying the deluxe edition to Battlefield. I wait for a Black Friday deal and get it cheap.
Yeah, that's true. I wish they had more season passes on sale too. Like the Final Fantasy one, I want that one, but that's never on sale from what I've seen. But the Fallout one's on sale. I think it's $25. It's not too bad.
20, I believe. Fallout 4.
Yeah,
a lot of these have the Ultimate Editions too. They're like $5 more, so look into them too.
Right. That's true.
They need to put out that Fallout 4 update already.
I think the Madden GOAT is only $40, which is normally $80. I mean, it's half off. If you're into Madden, I mean, that's a good deal.
It's decent.
Yeah, when is the Fallout one? That's going to be a big one. They're going to have that, Witcher 3.
Yeah, I wish they were more clear on that.
Yeah, Witcher 3 looks really good though. Like right now with the 1080p and the texture filtering, it looks really good.
I gotta say, playing on a 4K TV, going back to 1080p is kind of blurry. I don't mean to sound like that, but it really is. Like I went to
top.
I was playing Skyrim, and by the way, I have a bunch of mods installed that make all the textures like 4K textures and all that.
Wow.
And the problem is I can see how detailed it could be if it was in 4K, and it just like it kind of kills my experience.
Yeah, I know. It's like
yeah.
Yeah, you get snobbish after a while after you see like the top of the line,
You do.
resolutions. Yeah.
When you
it's like-
see it and you have it, it's over.
It's
Yeah.
like having a
Like, I
car
won't-
with leather seats and a
Yeah.
backup camera and navigation, and then all of a sudden you get dropped in a crappy econo box with nothing in it, and you're just like,
The way I am is once I get to see a better quality or feel a better quality, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? I hate to say it. I don't think I'll ever turn on my Xbox One S ever. I'm just gonna probably, maybe once in a while. I do not have any inclination to play my Xbox One S in my bedroom versus what I have in my living room in my man cave. The 4K, I wasn't here last week, but the 4K was everything that I dreamed it would be or thought it would be, and then some. 4K definitely makes a game look different. Halo 5 looks like a different game. Killer Instinct looks like a different game. These games, the way they pop, everything looks so good that you play these games just to play them to see how they're going to look. The Gears 3, I don't even know what resolution that is. It looks ridiculous. That's a 360 game. I mean,
4K.
so everything with this system blows away, the S. And I know that Microsoft might have a little bit of a problem there because it's not really a problem because people are just going to default to the X. But,
Yeah.
the X to the S proposition, as crazy it is, a $200 deal, it does not, for me, it's much bigger gap than that. The X, to me, is the more of a value deal for what you're getting, especially if you own a 4K. Now, I know that the 4K, you can get the HDR and you can get 4K Netflix and stuff like that and the UHD player. That's good, but if you have a 4K and you game it all, it's a no-brainer. You have to get the X.
Absolutely. I kind of, in good conscience, recommend the S anymore. Like the X is just, even if if you're somebody's like a cheapskate, you just gotta be like, listen, I'll give you the $200 or whatever extra. Just buy the damn thing. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you guys a question because I've said this on previous podcasts. As someone that I've previously before Xbox One X have gamed in 4K, and I was constantly on about how HDR is big, but I still think 4K is probably bigger. Like it really does change a game. Was I wrong? Now that you guys have actually, for those that have actually sat down.
I think 4K is the biggest.
The clarity is huge.
I mean,
it's like
you
putting
see,
on a new pair of glasses.
Yeah, see, Killer Instinct is a good example. I don't think that has HDR, right?
Not that I know of.
All right, so that's a perfect example. And I think Injustice 2 has HDR. So you have a game with HDR, and you have a game without HDR. One's native 4K, the other one's probably some type of variant, maybe 1800p. It's not hitting the same pixel rate. You definitely see. I feel like it's not as clear. That shows you how 4K makes a difference. Something about it when it hits that 4K, it really pops. You know what I mean? There's just something about it. I mean, when you get high up and you're pretty close to it, like Assassin's Creed, it's really hard to notice, and it still looks fantastic. But like when you go down to 1440p and stuff like that, you definitely notice it. It's a clear difference. So yeah, I think out of all the guys, 4K for me, when I was on the fence, I never knew what 4K looked like this extensively until I had the X and tested it myself. It really is a big deal. It is a generational jump from 1080p. Put it that way. Even though this is a mid-gen refresh, this feels to me like a generation jump.
And I think that's why cheapskates could
feeling.
like it.
Yeah,
because
I didn't get that.
Well, no,
feeling,
like
though, from the
cheapskates, you don't have to
360.
worry about resetting your game collection. Like you can get a true 4K console and have all the effects and everything and not have to restart. Like it's the greatest step in between, It's not, oh fuck, I got to spend how much money on games again? Controllers and accessories and no, fucking you're just there. You hook up your external to the old one and everything just works.
Yeah, it's a great bridge to the 4K era, and I mean it's awesome to see these Xbox games, particularly the exclusives, in the way they were pretty much intended to be. Like, if it wasn't for the power thing that I had to deal with this generation, these games should have, would have looked like, as good as they are now. So I'm really glad they're being patched up and kind of being more updated for the people who, for the new people who've got into the system and who maybe see it through different eyes for the experienced ones. So it's pretty awesome.
And I'm going to say that for all the detractors of Play Anywhere did a lot to make these games this quality for Xbox One X. To have these games built for PC with all these assets and already done, and all the work mostly done, that was huge for Xbox One X.
Yeah, it's the only reason I think we got the Infinite Warfare for the Call of Duty. I think it's the only reason really why I got it, because it's on a WPA. What do you call it? What's that delivery method? WP or something?
UWP.
Yeah, UWP. Yeah, I think that's
Universal Windows Platform.
Yeah, I think that's really contributing to the
nerd. Sorry.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, like, you can continue having these arguments with people that are like, I could build a gaming PC that could do better. That's nice. You're going to be spending $1,200. And then you got other people going, it's too expensive. You don't get that much of an effect. I don't see the difference. And it's just like, go into Best. For anyone listening that hasn't really seen the difference on a game wise, have you ever gone into Best Buy and gone up to a 4K TV and looked at one of their city videos where you can see all the little detail all the way down? Think of that, but with a video game. And honestly, it's even better than that, because those videos are compressed. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty awesome. And it is worth the $500. And soon enough there'll be bundles where you'll be able to buy an Xbox One X with a game, or an Xbox. I think right now there's one. I think somewhere you can get one for $485 right now. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the Xbox One X, it's completely worth the money. There's an excellent value proposition. It's much better than the PS4 Pro. You look at some of the games, you're seeing 100% resolution increases, texture increases, higher graphical settings, longer draw distances. The games look clearer, they look better. This is only with 6-month development time on the console. Imagine when they get these games with, a year from now, what they like Anthem with Xbox in mind. I think that we got a pretty big sizable gap from the X to the Pro, and you have an insurmountable gap from the X to its own family of S. So, you have a situation there where you have one clear leader. And I think that people proved that with the wallets. I mean, you saw what they did in UK, 80,000 in a week. They matched Switch, even though it was probably compliant, stock compliant, it was probably had, they didn't have all the stock, but still 30,000 more than, or 20,000 more, or 30,000 more than the Pro, and it took a month for the Pro to hit that number. And then you have, believe where it did well, in Europe, it did good. They hit their expectations. And supposedly with United States and North America, it did some, humongous numbers. So this thing sold. It's going to continue to sell. And people spoke with their wallets. They showed that a $500 console will sell. And I think that people who are talking about PS4, PS5, and Xbox 2, Xbox, with what they did with this scenario, I think for sure you're going to get a $499 next generation console next time, because if you could do what they did for $500, people will spend it in today's day and age, especially on the onset of 4K. You know, in 3 years, when the new consoles come out, 4K will be mainstream. But you know what? The X is going to be there, so it's going to be very interesting to see where everything goes. I'm sure those consoles will be a lot, stronger, but for X, for where it might do, it might actually have a longer life than you would expect. I think they really nailed it with the X, and people bought it, and they shut up the naysayers, and I expect a big holiday and throughout.
Yeah, it's definitely going to push the tech ahead.
I was going to say, it was the fourth largest UK release of a console ever, and that's for a $500 console that currently has no games.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think they had a launch at New York. Were you at that thing, right, Tim? You were at the New York launch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, it took me back to the old days, the OG Xbox, when they had that launch with in New York as well. They had the 01, that Project Gotham at the time, and a bunch of other games. I think was that the Toys R Us or I don't know, I forget where, but I know they had like a midnight launch there too back in the day. It kind of reminded me of that, which is it brought back like cool like old feelings, nostalgia.
They really did a great job. They had me come down there with Megatron, and they surprised us. They put us on Mixer, and I played Phil.
Yep, raced with Phil.
Yeah, and he beat me, but it was an unbelievable experience. They treated all the fans good. At 12 o'clock, Phil went downstairs to the store, and he was greeting everyone. And everyone that was walking out of the store was given a year Game Pass that bought the X, a year Game Pass, and a Minecraft controller.
Oh, that's
They were just handing them out. You bought this, you bought that. Everyone was walking. Phil was shaking hands with everyone that left the store. People didn't even know. Some people didn't even know who he is. You'd be surprised. A lot of people don't know who he is. Or they don't know who Greeny is or anyone. We know because we're into it, and we're always on Twitter and this and that. But average people don't have no idea. And Phil was like, these guys were just like, some guys would be like, Phil, like after they bought the console, some would just giving us hot handshakes, and it was such a good time. And they really did it right. And they knocked it out of the ballpark from the launch to everything, to even now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm going to be honest. I would love to meet Phil, but if I saw Mike, I'd probably run up to Mike first, because Mike's been so good to us.
Yeah,
Mike's... Oh my God, it's Mike.
Yeah, Mike's a good dude, man.
Yeah,
he's good people.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely love to meet Phil. There's such all the Xbox executives seem to be really sociable and cool guys. I mean, even if they're not, who cares?
They're all very nice. Honestly, everyone is accommodating. They take pictures. You never really. I don't think there's. Phil gets surrounded and stuff like that. Sometimes he's very good. I mean, I have to say they handle the fan situation great. So I have to say they're very down to earth. Major Nelson, anybody I've seen say, can you take a picture? It takes time and does it. That stuff gets annoying after a while, I'm sure, after 100 people do it to you all day.
Yeah, Major Nelson.
It's worth it, man, though. It really is worth it, man.
Yeah, definitely.
From where Microsoft really had a hard time this generation, and I think their strategy of just appeasing the gamer and not worrying about sales as much, I think is the way to go. And I think it's a strategy of do what the gamer wants and the sales will follow. And I think it's been working. It's just going to take time, It's not easy to make up the loss that they took this beginning of this generation. And I think they've done a good job. I mean, they need to get the game, they need to get the library going. And once they do that, they're good. I mean, we'll see you at the next E3. I mean, I don't know.
Listen, if they want to be this for the long haul, they get the games going, they're good. Their next console, with what they're pulling off, I think you're going to have a console where you're going to be able to play 4 generations, and you're going to be able to play 4K 60. Who knows on all those? That's how. I mean, what they're doing with Gears 3. Play Gears 3. If you have an X and you have a 4K, play Gears 3. Seriously, you will be like, "What the hell is going on?" It looks fantastic.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Same with
It is
Oblivion.
crazy.
Oblivion looks nuts.
I saw a picture of Oblivion the other day. I'm like,
Oh my
holy
God.
crap!
Oblivion looks absolutely insane, dude. Dusty will tell you. You watched me play it.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have that forward compatibility and that backwards compatibility, kind of in their back pocket. So, people who said Microsoft's done and Microsoft's, dead, and right now they have done so much work and they've done so much to try to get back on their feet, and they've gotten on their feet that they're in a situation where even the next console, I think Sony may be able to play 2. You're going to be able to play everything on freaking Xbox XX, whatever it's called. You know what I mean?
They're good at skipping consoles, so it'll be the Triple X.
Yeah, well, if next generation, let's say 2021, that's going to be a huge selling point. You don't think that your game that you're playing right now, which, like, say, Assassin's Creed, if you wanted to play that 4K 60 on the Triple X, you wouldn't want to do that?
I'm just saying Vin Diesel's going to walk out on stage to announce it.
But the fact is that you look at that stuff, and then you go on Sony's side, and they're like, what do they have in place with this?
Right.
This is still coming from a company that still has, they still take down the network to update your PlayStation network.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
one of the big popular, God, I don't remember what Japanese game it was. One of the new popular Japanese games for PS4 just had the fucking network server shut down.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gravity Rush?
But
Yeah, Gravity
my
Rush
point
2.
is that
It's like the support is not there. That's why I said that.
yeah, but the software side, they took them to 2017 to get second step authentication. What I'm talking, and then they have to do backwards compatibility on PS3 with the cell. That's going to be maybe impossible.
Yeah.
And then they might have their games moving forward, but you know what? It's not going to be easy to incorporate their backwards, compatibility. This is something where Microsoft is getting to the point where they're making your games almost 4K on fucking OG Xbox games. And they don't get enough credit. They really do not get enough credit, but all this work is paying off, and it's going to pay off next generation when they're going to say, play 4 generations in 4K 60. Who the hell knows? You know what I mean? That might be the step up that we're thinking, 4K 60. But then you'll have your whole library where you can play only half your library on PlayStation if they don't get it down. So they're setting themselves up good. All they have to do is get the games in order, get some first party, get a couple more first party studios, and get maybe a mature game out there too. They can't always have everything for kids, and they'll be fine. They'll be in real good shape.
Yeah, pretty much. Sony is definitely leaning on their whole remastered, stuff just to cover for their non-ability to do like backwards compatibility. I mean, the good thing is Microsoft has the means to do it, so they don't have to like remaster everything. They kind of just do their wizardry and make the stuff happen. So it's pretty cool. I really like that feature, and I'm really excited to see what more games they're going to add to the enhanced as far as the 360 stuff goes. So do you guys have any idea what they might be able to access to do that? Like, I know they did some sort of technique with, like, I heard it was a MIP mapping or something for Gears 3 to make
I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It
Mirror's
is
Edge.
crazy.
Yeah,
is Mirror's Edge looks good too?
Have you guys played Ninja Gaiden?
Yeah.
I did. It looks good.
Yeah.
For an Xbox One X.
It's an Xbox One game.
It's crazy. Yeah, the only thing that looks bad is the text, but that's to be expected. That's like it's an older game, so and it was widescreen.
They didn't replace that.
But
whatever's rendered looks fantastic.
So you guys think they'll do it with more first party games, like maybe like Fable? That'll be a great one to do it with. Like
No, I think. Look, I think Microsoft is still of the opinion of not announcing games until the year they're going to come out at least. They should have had more games ready for this year. Or to be perfectly honest and fair to Microsoft, while Sony had the third-party exclusives, Japanese stuff earlier in this year, as far as Sony's first party, they didn't have much this year either. They really didn't. They had Horizon Zero Dawn, which was supposed to be a late 2016 game. It was not supposed to be a 2017 game at all. And they had GT Sport. And I think there was NAC 2 this year. Not sure.
Yeah, they had some key slots filled in that were it played to their advantage.
And then Microsoft, they had Crackdown delayed, which sucked, and that was supposed to be this year. They had State of Decay 2 delayed, which was supposed to be this year, and that should have been here. And if those two games would have been here, it would have been a lot better. And I'm just saying, to be fair to Microsoft, it's not as if the first party on Sony's side is exactly like booming in 2017. It's really not. Neither companies are booming this year, to be honest. And to be honest, the only reason Sony's had a lot of big games in the middle of years lately is because they can't seem to actually release a game in the late year. Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, it's just they constantly have to delay these games out of late holiday. Not to mention, Microsoft actually had a big last holiday with Gears.
Yeah, it was pretty
Horizon
packed.
3, Dead Rising 4, and all that. But yeah, and Sony went ahead and they announced a bunch of games that they're still unwilling to give release dates. And the excuse I'm hearing now from fanboys is, they're just not gonna. They're no longer telling release dates till they know. They're just being nice. It's like, no, let's be honest. If you can't even give a year, if you can't even tell us what year you expect the game to release, and to be fair, this goes against Microsoft too, because they delayed Crackdown and shit. And State of Decay. They gave a year for that and delayed it.
Yeah,
if you can't even get a year, you shouldn't announce the game.
Yeah, I'm expecting. No, sorry, I'm expecting. You know how was it beginning 2017 they announced the Scalebound cancellation. I expect a similar report, but not with cancellations in mind. More with like what they have planned for the future. Most likely after the holidays, because that seems like when they actually kind of go more into like what they want the year to be and like what they have planned. So hopefully they'll have like those Xbox Wire articles.
State of the Union.
Right. Yeah, so they'll be like, "Hey, well, we're excited to bring you games that we were expecting to bring last year to this year. Maybe we'll give you a Sea of Thieves and State of Decay, release dates, more stuff, with updates on the UI and stuff like that. Stuff like that. So I would fully expect that, like maybe in January or something like that.
They need to announce a new big game for the year after. Like for early 2018, and the new big game let's gonna be honest, next year is probably gonna be Crackdown 3, State of Decay 2, a big Halo game, another Forza, and we don't know. They might have a new AAA next year, they might not, for next year, but they need to have a AAA. They need to announce at least for early 2018 a brand new AAA franchise or game.
Do you guys think they'll have some sort of announcement at the Game Awards, maybe, or think until E3 basically?
E3.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
I think they're working on that stuff, so I think you might get some things at triple out. Yeah, some things. I think you might see an acquisition. My opinion. You might see some stuff. We talked about. We talked about Z Huge and how they cut the budget.
I do think the budget, which is why he's on the scene. I know.
Yeah. Well, no, but the reason why I bring that up, is because with some stuff, there's a little truth to it. I don't think that for games in the last 2 years, that there was much of wiggle room for game creation. And I think within Xbox, there might have been people saying, well, we don't have to count on first party as much because we're just going to lose money on it, going by what we've seen, and the economy with single player and stuff like that. But I think now, especially when you heard the comments on Bloomberg, they're serious about it. And for them to get serious about it, that's all that needs to happen because, they're not to a point where they're destitute with first party. They're going to have Gears. They're going to have Halo. They're going to have Forza series, which is huge, Horizon. And you're going to have Forza 8. You're going to have you're going to have Ori. But now you're going to Sea of Thieves. You're going to have a position where they're going to either acquire a couple of devs or they're going to make some deals. And they're going to have the money to do it. Phil is now in a different position where he can actively, push for stuff. Plus, you don't have X. When X was being proposed, I'm sure you had people that said, this is going to cost a lot of money, Phil. You got S and this. Why do we really need this? Are people really going to do this? Mm-hmm. And, there might have been some pushback on okay, well, we got it going, but, we got to save a little money here, or you can't really third-party market, or you got to cut down this, overall, operating, how much we're operating at. There were cuts here and there, but now you don't have X, and now you're going to have a revenue stream where people are buying X. That means higher revenues. That means that people are going to look at Xbox in a different way, especially when the quarterlies are coming. So if Microsoft wants to get serious about gaming and they really they get behind it, you're going to have, and they get behind first party and game creation, you're going to have a real big stellar output. And it's just up to them to do that. If they've got the hardware right, now the software is going to follow. They can implement what they need to implement to make the economy of the game to make money or to recoup profit or recoup its costs. But they can't just not have games, because if they don't have any games coming and we all get wind of it, what's going to happen is that they're just going to set themselves up for next generation in a pretty bad situation too. People are just going to start to leave. And I think they get it that they need to have that, and they're saying as much. So I expect things to really start to heat up, especially, right January. I think you'll see some news, in my opinion. Something will drop. They've been so long without a big drop that something will drop, and they're going to have a good E3.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't want people to underestimate just how much faith Satya Nadella put into Phil, because the senior panel at Microsoft, Phil is only among one of two people on the senior panel that actually report to another person on that panel. Like, we're talking, these guys actually steer the ship for Microsoft. They're basically the oligarchy for Microsoft almost. They're top level shit. They have a lot of influence. So him being put there, it gives him some control. And to be honest, if nothing comes of it, you really could blame him at that point. Right. I'm just saying. Yeah. At that point, yeah. Like,
I think they're going to start. You're going to start to see some stuff drop.
Yeah. And I think he wants that. I think he hates the fact that what's going on. Probably absolutely hates it.
Yeah, I think you will see an increasing importance on the Xbox division, considering the amount of revenue they can generate with the games, the services. Most likely more than their other services, to be honest with you. Like, the Windows is, the license itself for the Windows is what they make their money on, and especially when they put it on other platforms. But even that's because their app store is very, iffy, and it's doubtful they'll get as much revenue as maybe an Xbox type of thing.
Actually, I'm sorry. I was just gonna. They actually make most of their revenue on not Azure. Well, Dusty, did Azure take over Office as the top
Yeah, so
revenue.
Azure's the top revenue earner for them.
Yeah, Azure's now the top revenue, and they actually make more money on Office than they do Windows licenses.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
that's not surprising.
They have
Considering,
like 10 different billion-dollar businesses.
yeah, but their gaming is definitely going to be like on the rise, considering
Yeah.
how good it's doing for Sony. So I think they're kind of seeing also that sort of potential increase to their their company when it's a big thing for Sony.
Well, they have to understand that media is going that way. I mean, don't get me wrong, movies aren't going away. But media, like video gaming, is really taking over. Just in the cost and the revenue, like it's Call of Duty made more money. I know we said on the podcast before, Call of Duty made more money in 24 hours than both Thor Ragnarok and Wonder Woman combined. That's fucking insane. But anyway, I'll shut up.
No, that's fine. It's it's definitely an increasing industry. It's still on the rise, and yeah, it's like for me, I used to be into comics a lot more, and then like I slowly got back into video games again, and like that's completely taken over my hobby. So that's one of those things where for me, it's like an indicator that like video games are kind of on the rise again, like more than before. So. But that's just me, though.
I think video games in the future are going to be bigger than what they are, now.
Yeah, video games and movies and all that stuff.
Movies. I don't know. There'll come a time when we'll be playing a movie. Who knows? You know what I mean? It's in 10 years from now, it'll be interesting to see where gaming is. But I don't think people said console gaming is going away. I don't see that.
No.
I think that we're going to have a nice generation, this generation, and next generation probably be really good with 4K, 60, everything, with everything looking awesome. So, and then you'll have 8K. So,
Oh.
but I mean, that's I see the gaming industry and everything on the up and ups. It had bumpy roads too, but I don't. There was a time when people said people wouldn't be gaming. It was a fad, and it would just be. But it's as more and more as kids grow up now gaming. It's a lot different. So I think Switch and mobile type things that'll always be there too. It's just gonna get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's not just a kid's hobby; it's an adult hobby. So it's the tech enthusiasts, all that sort of stuff. It's very very interesting.
All right. Well, I think we've come towards the end of the show, so I want to kind of get into what everybody's been playing, especially you, Tim, since we haven't been able to talk to you in a while.
Well,
so what was that? What was the first Xbox One X game? What was that first enhanced experience?
Well.
Because I know you probably didn't listen to the show, but me and Jason decided to go with Ark, and I'm not sure what you did. Well,
I'll give you a little background. I saw a lot of the games at the event. So I saw Ark, which blew me away. I talked to Jesse. He's the guy he's one of the developers for Ark. Awesome guy. I saw Madden in 4K, and oh my God, it looks so crazy. It's so good. Looks really good. I saw Halo 5 there. So I knew of where I wanted to go. So when I came home, the first game that I played was to pay homage to Xbox One. I played Ninja Gaiden.
Nice.
And I got into it. I played it. It looks very good. You can definitely tell it's an Xbox OG game, especially with the on-screen font and stuff like that. Like some of the stuff you see, it's like 480 stretched out. But I played that, and then I went on to Assassin's Creed, which I was completely taken back by. I played Halo 5, which I think may be the best game that's been enhanced. I really can't believe how good that looks.
Yeah.
So for me, I tried a bunch of games. I tried, I played maybe an hour of Halo 5, and then I went to Diablo 3. I wasn't that impressed with Diablo 3. Then we played to Killer Instinct, which I would say is, like I said before, is the best fighter-looking game, best-looking game on Xbox One X is Killer Instinct Fighter.
It's the only 4K fighter, period.
Yeah.
60 frames per second.
That's true.
Yeah. Injustice 2, even though it's patched, I don't think it's 4K. I can see a little bit of that. It looks like it's 1440p. It looks like maybe 1800, maybe. It doesn't look like sharp like, Killer Instinct does. It doesn't have that crisp feel to it. A look to it. Then I played so many games. I played till like 4 in the morning. That's how you know. I played I played Forza 7. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I played Forza 7 on my OLED. That was the first game I played on my OLED because I have 2 X's now. I bought an X at PC Richards, and then I found out that I have all this credit that they extended me, and I said, you know what? I looked at the LG OLED. It was on sale for $17.99. I bought it, brought it home, installed it, and the first game I played on it was Forza 7. And when I tell you, it looks like a different game than what I was playing on S. It looks like a different game. It's so sharp, so like colors just so nice. They look so good. The blues, everything just. It's hard to.
I was going to say the LOD is a lot higher too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say, even from TV to TV, if you guys are in the process of buying a TV, with X, 4K TV matters a lot. Like you could have a TCL TV, and no disrespect to the TV, but you can have that, and then you can have an OLED, and your picture is going to look unbelievable. Probably on both, or look really good on the TLC, but it's going to look unbelievable. Top notch on the OLED, so you have to, people who are buying that, I would say, do your research. Rtings, I always tell everyone that rtings.com. Maybe spend a little more money for the a little higher model if it's 200. Don't, this is something that if you get the right TV, you're really going to enjoy what you got. You're going to enjoy it both ways, but there's different levels when it comes to the TVs. High-end TVs really accentuate the X, in my opinion. Like my OLED, the C7 accentuates it. It just puts it in this different realm. It doesn't make me not want to play the KS8000, which I have Samsung downstairs, but it definitely, if I'm going to compare it to, there's a difference. And
I just want to throw it out there, Tim. If you haven't tried it yet, on an OLED, play Geometry Wars Retro Evolve 2. Just crank up the settings. I know it's not 4K or HDR, but the black levels in that game and the colors, because everything's exploding and it's nothing but colors. It's me and Vern were doing it on his OLED, his 4K OLED. Fucking gorgeous, like just absolutely amazing looking. Like
I will do that
because it just really shows off just how amazing OLED is at blacks, because you get the brightest colors, but at the same time, just pitch black darks. It's amazing.
I will definitely try that. But so I've been playing a bunch of games. I know I'm going on a tangent, but I played Gears 3. Fantastic. If you haven't seen it, play it on X on 4K. And then I played Mafia 3, which looks great, but I don't know how I'm liking the way that they're kind of holding your hand with the story. I mean, I like the story, but I feel like I want to be able to be within the world like GTA, but they take that away from you in a way, and I don't like that. I feel like there's a lack of freedom in the game where I would love it, but I'd rather it be like a GTA style instead of fetch style. Yeah. Where you could drive or you could do what you want. I think if it had that, it would be fantastic. As of right now, I still like it, but just feel like that kind of. I feel like I want that. Maybe I'll get it at the end of the game. I don't know, but like a free roam type thing where it would help that game. But that's also on sale. But I would say I recommend it. seems like it's good so far. Really good story. But yeah, I mean, there's so many games I still want to try out. You know, these games that drop. Record just dropped with an enhance. It wasn't a great enhancement, but it dropped. You know, a couple of hell. What's the game that just dropped? It's Killing Floor 2
Yeah.
just dropped. So there's these games that become enhanced that I want to try because, like I said, it's like a different looking game in some aspects. You know, it's variable. You know, I played also Tomb Raider. Looks fantastic. I can't get enough of the console, to be honest. It is one of the things when I do sit down with it, it becomes a thing where I stay up till 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. It's not good because I am older. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not
I'm
like
doing the same thing.
You know, that's the problem is that, you know, when I do that and then I go to sleep at 5 in the morning and I wake up at 9, I am not normal for 2 to 3 days. I am tired or I have to catch up. You know, when you're a kid, when you're 20 years old, you could freaking stay up an hour, stay up 2 hours sleep. You're good. When you get older, it's just the way things change. You know, I hate to play that old card, but the fact is that, you know, I love it, the system that much, but it's been taking me into these 4 a.m. nights that little debilitating. But I'm hoping to play a little tonight, hopefully, and then I'm off Saturday, and then I have next week Thanksgiving, so I'm off a couple of days. I can really put some time into it. But I have to say the console is tremendous.
Nice.
You know, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a nice, like, time spent with it, you know.
It definitely feels better than Xbox One.
Yeah, it's a huge leap, like, especially because I'm coming from the OG Xbox One, so it's a
Yeah.
huge leap. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, but yeah, I've been playing some stuff too. I purchased the Surge. It's a cool game, especially if you like Dark Souls style games. But this is more futuristic and a little bit more tactical with regards to like hacking body parts and stuff. So that's a pretty cool game. I've been playing that. I mean, I've been like Tim. I've been testing a lot of games, and I've posted some stuff on Twitter on which ones got like enhancements and which ones kind of benefit more from the X. I picked up Super Lucky's Tale. I think talked about that last week. Been playing Recore as well. You know, and Quantum Break. I'm just playing it over again just because the graphics are so good that I kind of want to re-experience it, even though I have all the achievements or everything. I just want to kind of see it through new eyes again. So it's an awesome game still. It's almost like the Shannon Loftus 3, Recore, Quantum Break, and Lucky's Tale. So that's interesting. Also tried out Sleeping Dogs. That really benefits from the X.
Is that an enhanced game or is it just?
No, not enhanced. It's just the screen tearing is gone and the texture filtering really helps, and the frame rate is a lot better. So that's a big win for that game, especially because that issues back on launch. Because it was one of those remasters where it was criticized for being a bad remaster, but the X pretty much, from what I've seen, fixes a lot of stuff that was wrong with it. So. That's a really cool game. I would recommend. Even the Flame and the Flood. That's an indie game. The tearing is completely gone, and it almost looks like a 4K game. To be honest with you, it's so sharp looking. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it looks dramatically different. Yeah. Besides that, the main games I've been playing, like for like serious, is a Mass Effect. I kind of got back to that one. I think that dynamic resolution is back up to. I think it's 1080. I don't know. It looks a little cleaner than I remember in Mass Effect Andromeda, but that's a good one. Final Fantasy 15, which got Digital Foundry face-off recently, which plays pretty well. I like it. And lastly, what else am I playing here? Yeah, a little bit of Enter the Gungeon. So it's a good. I know we've talked about that one, Tim, but it's supposed to get an update soon. Gungeons and Dragons. I don't know when that's coming out, but I'm looking forward to it. That's pretty much it on my end.
Jason, what have you been playing other than Forza?
I think he said skip him.
Oh, okay.
He's not feeling good or something.
Yeah. So I've been playing Blue Dragon at night before bed. That's kind of my go-to game right now. Of like, don't want to stay up too late, but I want something that's not going to be like a shooter, which is going to fucking keep me up till 5 a.m. doing a Tim. But I wanted something that has a little beef to it. So I've been playing Blue Dragon. That game's actually really good, and it actually runs fairly. It runs great on the X. But I've been playing it. I have my X up in the entertainment room to enjoy it there, and I put my Xbox Elite console on my smaller TV just as originally as just a way of watching. Using it as just a TV device, a Netflix device, and that whole shebang. But I've actually started, still using it relatively often just to sit there and play little games and like just playing a couple rounds of Geometry Wars, stuff like that. But like right now I'm playing Sunset Overdrive on the Xbox One X, and to be honest, I would really love it if this game would have had a dynamic resolution and not been stuck at 900p.
Oh, I know, man. That sucks.
Like that's
it definitely needs an enhancement.
Like the dynamic resolution in these games, the Xbox One X really has saved a lot of those games resolution-wise.
Yeah.
I'm hearing Homefront looks like a totally different game. Another one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I heard it looks really good. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's really crisp looking. Like the textures are ultra sharp. It's amazing. And Mirror's Edge also, interestingly enough, I didn't know about this, but I see it on Recent Era that they patched that with a dynamic resolution, so it hits 900p now. Mirror's Edge Catalyst. So that was an interesting upgrade.
Wait, what does it hit?
900p, and then the texture filtering helps out with the rest. But yeah, that's the maximum instead of the 720p that it first had. So that's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's good.
I'd love to see them do something like that for Sunset Overdrive. Just either add in dynamic resolution, just to allow.
Yeah, that's why I want him to finish Spider-Man so quickly, so I can get back to Sunset.
I mean, I don't know. I think that it doesn't. I don't think it's so many resources that would take to really enhance it. It could really take 2 weeks if you had a full team on it, I would think. Yeah. But I would love to see Sunset, but I doubt that's ever going to happen. Rise 2, I'll never see that.
Yeah.
Certain games you'll never see.
Like I said, these dynamic resolution games are really pushing out with this console. Like, it's really extending the life of these games. Well beyond their years, but just a simple feature of letting, hey, if you got the extra hardware, the game engine will just kind of give you everything you can get. But yeah, I mean, Sunset, I ended up playing Jackbox with a bunch of friends the other night. It was really fun last weekend.
Nice.
We had a good get together.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Quite a few of the games for Jackbox 4. Nice. But I hate to say I'm kind of a boring guy. Blue Dragon, Titanfall 2. I played my very first online match at Titanfall 2. I could say that.
Did you get your ass handed to you?
A little bit, yeah. But I didn't do as bad as I thought I was going to do.
Nice.
Oh, excuse me. I haven't really put much, even though I'm paying for servers, I haven't put much time into Minecraft this last week. Played Assassin's Creed Origins. I think Tim brought that up earlier. That game is fucking insane. Like, I am so glad they waited a year to release that game and not just rush it out, because it honestly is it's what Assassin's Creed needed. It is a generational leap for Assassin's Creed. Like, it doesn't feel like the 360 Assassin's Creeds. It doesn't feel rushed. It feels polished. It feels like a true next-gen Assassin's Creed, and I'm so happy that it's there.
It's on sale now. Would you guys recommend it now, or should I wait for the gold edition or whatever? Because it has a lot of stuff coming up.
I'd go ahead and pick it up now. Like, I just got the regular edition of it. I wasn't really worried about all the DLC and stuff. But
Yeah, that's good. I'm like neurotic with that stuff. Like I have to have everything complete. But I might pick that up then.
And then Final Fantasy 15 looks so much better.
Oh yeah,
So
clear
much better.
textures and everything. Yep.
And I've been playing on that. For some reason the Xbox app says I've been playing the Windows edition of it, which I don't understand. But okay.
Oh, there's that UWP striking again.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fucking just everything's been enhanced, and I'm really happy with my purchase of the Xbox One X.
Nice. Good games.
All right. I think we've come to the end of the show, guys. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. I'd like to thank
episode.
Tim and Will and everybody else for being on the show. We were hoping Steph was going to be on, but that's why his image has been flipping, but he had a family thing to go and take care of.
Yeah. Hope everything's good stuff.
Hopefully by next week I do not have this cough anymore. That would be a blessing.
You're breaking up a little, Dustin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, everybody else can hear me.
Okay, cool.
So next week we'll be back Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we will see you then. Please write us in at letters at xboxuncut.com and tell us what your favorite games are on the One X. But until then, y'all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Later, guys.